So, hello and welcome to our live broadcast for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Hope everyone can see me okay, and it's wobbling. Sorry about that. Hope everyone's fine and they can see me. Obviously, this will stay up from whenever. If you're on live, say hello. If you're not, don't worry about it. Okay. So, WWE Crown Jewel was good, bad, and the ugly. That's all I'm going to put. There were some really good points, really bad points. If you've been following us on Twitter, you will know that I've been doing a prediction on the matches. Needless to say, I'm not very good at predicting matches, but that was over on our Twitter, and this was the first prediction just here. But yeah, we'll go through the predictions as well. But ultimately, how much did I like Crown Jewel? It was good in spots, and in others it wasn't. And we'll get on to that. But that was Crown Jewel. Personally, I think Crown Jewel is it's sort of like in its own reality, its own little bubble. Anyway, we'll crack onto all that. So we start off with the kickoff show for Crown Jewel, which is a 20-man battle royale for the chance to meet AJ Styles for a chance to meet AJ Styles in the main event for the US title. Someone's just popped on, say hello. Hi, Mike. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so we get that match, 20-man match. I predicted that Curtis Alexander would win. Cedric Alexander would win, sorry. He was one of only 4 left in the match. He was only one of the 4 left. Then he got eliminated. So that was my prediction out the window, because I predicted that wrong. So first prediction was wrong. Humberto Carlos, Colinos, or I can't remember his name. He won. They've been giving him a sort of a push on Raw lately. He's had a match with AJ Styles already, but he won. And it was between him, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. Luke Harper got a massive response from the crowd. They were actually chanting his name. He hasn't been on TV much lately. And obviously there's lots of rumors of him maybe leaving the company. We don't actually know what's going on. But it was a fairly good kickoff show. There was a bit with R-Truth was in and got eliminated and pinned one of the Singh brothers for the 24/7 title. That he obviously runs off. Later on, there is a backstage segment where he runs into a door and the Singh brothers pin him again. So the Singh brothers are still 24/7 champion, but R-Truth won it back briefly. Anyway, that was the kickoff show. So Humberto Colanos, or Humberto, we're just going to go with that because I can't say the last name. He won, so he gets his chance to face AJ for the US title later on. The show kicks off. Our first match is Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. Now, Cain Velasquez is a Raw superstar, do you believe? Brock Lesnar is a SmackDown superstar. This match was really quick. I was really surprised. Also, as well, it felt more like an MMA match than a wrestling match. There was lots of jabs going on, lots of high kicks. It didn't really seem like it was a wrestling match. It was more of a, like I said, MMA match. But it didn't last very long. Less than 3 minutes, I do believe. Brock Lesnar got him in an armbar, and Cain Velasquez tapped out. So Brock Lesnar is still your WWE champion going into SmackDown. But it's going to be interesting tonight on SmackDown. I'll be doing a review on that on Saturday. But it's going to be quite interesting to see how that plays out and who faces him next. We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Then we get the tag team turmoil. So I predicted the New Day would win this, and obviously my predictions are wrong. The New Day didn't win. This match went on for a very, very long time. So basically, 2 teams start off. Once one's there, another one comes in. So it's a bit like a gauntlet match for the tag teams. It goes right down. There's some good bits, some bad bits in it. But the OC win, and they become the greatest tag team in the world. These things that Saudi Arabia do, or they do at Crown Jewel, are just absolutely bizarre. They did the best in the world last year, and Shane McMahon won it. And it carried on WWE TV for quite a while. It'd be interesting to see what happens with them being crowned the greatest tag team in the world. We'll see how the OC respond and go forward with this and stuff like that. Then we get Monsoon and Cesaro. I think Cesaro should be getting a push. He's just not being utilized the best he should be. This match was actually okay. It was actually an okay match. It was very good. Monsoon's the only guy that seems to appear at Saudi Arabia, and that's it. So he's one of their homegrown things. It was obvious. I predicted he would win and Cesaro would lose. That prediction was right. Monsoon won, so I was right on that. And Mike, I'll be there. Okay, Mike. So Cesaro lost. Like I said, I think he's a bit of a jobber now, or a bit of a workhorse. They don't seem to know how to utilize him very well, but he is a really good wrestler. And I think he just needs a little bit more of a push, maybe. Then we get Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. Another one that I weren't too sure about. Tyson Fury's entrance, though, was out of this world, really. He just had firework after firework. Fireworks outside the arena, inside the arena, on top of the arena, fireworks everywhere. Braun Strowman was in the ring looking very frustrated. It was just so over the top. His entrance was just so over the top. I predicted Braun Strowman would win, and Tyson Fury won. The match itself was a letdown, a bit like the Kane, Valenska, and Brock Lesnar match. They sort of pushed it, and nothing really came of it. There was some pushing and shoving going on. Anyway, Braun Strowman goes on the ring apron, and Tyson Fury basically punches him, knocks him out side of the ring, and Braun Strowman gets counted out by the count of 10. And then gets back in the ring afterwards, after losing, gets back in the ring and power bombs Tyson Fury and then leaves. It didn't last very long. It was a gimmick match. It wasn't the best. I don't know if we'll ever see Tyson Fury again. I doubt it. He's got a boxing match coming up. So, and obviously Mike loves the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. But I don't think we'll see him anytime soon again in WWE. He's obviously, he's done this. He's got his payday. He's off. Then we get the AJ Styles and Humberto match. Really good. We've seen this match before on SmackDown, on Raw. Sorry, we know what we're getting. It was a fairly good match. Obviously, AJ retains. That was it. So I predicted that AJ would retain. So that was a prediction that I got right. So I'm quite happy with that. Then it was the big one that I weren't too sure how was going to come down. It was the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, they've got different customs for women and stuff like that. The last couple of Saudi shows, or Crown Jewel shows, or the Greatest Show and all this sort of stuff, or the Greatest Royal Rumble, all that sort of stuff, they haven't had any women on the roster or over there wrestling at all because of the culture and stuff like this. So this was a big moment, and they didn't disappoint. We had Natalya versus Lacey Evans. Natalya won. There was a little bit. So Natalya came down to the ring. She got a bottle thrown at her, a water bottle. It hit her leg. and she just brushed it off like a true champ, like a true professional. She just went, nah, sod that. Lacey Evans had the same thing as well. Security should have really been onto that. I was a little bit uncomfortable to see how it was going to happen when we saw that. Lots of fireworks, obviously. Very emotional night for the both of them. They put on a really good match, a decent match. After the match, they hugged it out. There was tears. You know, it was good. It was a feel-good moment, a first in the world. So hands down to the two of them. They really, really did pull it off really well. And yeah, hats off to them. Hats off for WWE for doing it as well. And you know, something that's never been done before. They're breaking barriers, and hopefully, going forward for Crown Jewel in the future, we will see more women and more women's matches. Then we had Team Hogan versus Team Flair. This was another decent match. I predicted Team Hulk Hogan, and I predicted right. So that was a 1-0 for me. So I predicted right on that over on our Twitter. So yeah, if you're not on our Twitter account or you're on Twitter, make sure you follow us, because I post more on there than I do on any other social media. So make sure you look out for me on there and stuff like that. That's the hashtag just here, just there. So if you go on Twitter and put that hashtag in or that there, you'll find my page. Give us a follow. It was a really good match, backwards and forwards. At 1 minute, there was a bit of chaos in the ring. We saw, you know, Bobby Lashley and Ravi, as we've seen the storyline there, actually got their hands on each other. I think that storyline is going to continue. There was an interesting bit as well. Lana came out with Bobby Lashley, which was a surprise for me. So she came out and didn't come down with him, but she came out with him in his entrance. But overall, I think the match was fairly good. Predictable as well. Like I said, I predicted right. And obviously, Roman Reigns won. He's got a big pop out there. So that was that. Then we have the last match of the night, which is the Fiend Bray Wyatt going up against Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Now, Seth Rollins is on Raw, and the Fiend is on SmackDown. So I predicted that Seth Rollins somehow would win this. I was wrong, and it's going to create a dilemma. But before I get onto that, I'm just going to say that that the match itself, Falls Count Anywhere match, was excellent. I think this was the result that they wanted at Hell in a Cell that they didn't get. So this was sort of like what they wanted at Hell in a Cell. It was. This is how you put on a decent Falls Count Anywhere match. They were out the ring. They're not out the ring. Seth Rollins done big stomp after foot stomp after foot stomp after super kick. Just the Fiend was not going down. Even being thrown off of the entrance, off of the staging area, into a sort of a, I don't know, sort of an electrical kit room sort of thing that they built at the side, and there was sparks, flames, everything. Fiend still wouldn't go down, and then obviously he pinned the Universal Champion. So we now have a brand new Universal Champion in the Fiend. Now this causes a major dilemma. As I spoke, we've got Seth Rollins on Raw and the Fiend on SmackDown. It now means that the WWE title and the Universal title are now on SmackDown, and it means that Raw now only has the US title as its top title, which will never be seen as. So it's going to be really, really, really interesting tonight on SmackDown and going forward how they sort this out. Unless there's a trade between the two, or they could do a rematch between the two and the belt goes back to Raw. But going forward, or Raw make its own title up. We don't know what's going to happen. It's really interesting going forward. But I believe that this is the result that everyone wanted, including myself, at at Hell in a Cell. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to drop the title. I don't think they want that. And I don't think them just giving the title to The Fiend that he will drop it anytime soon neither. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because I do believe that when the deal went through for Fox, for SmackDown to go to Fox, that they wanted Brock Lesnar and The Fiend on Fox SmackDown. They're both there now, and they both got the top titles in the company. So it's, for me, it's going to be really, really, really interesting to see how it all comes up, how it all sorts itself out. Will we get a brand new title? Will we get? I'm just sorting this out. Sorry. Will we get the title back on Raw somehow? I don't know. As you can see on my Twitter there, I was watching it live, so I've got pictures of The Fiend there with the Universal title. But like I said, it's going to be really, really interesting on this week's SmackDown on how that all comes about, how it all sorts itself out, maybe, or it won't do. The next pay-per-view is at the end of November, Survivor Series. It's worth noting that Survivor Series will consist of not only Raw and SmackDown, but NXT for the first time will be incorporated into a WWE event. So NXT will be there as well. So that will be really, really interesting going forward. I don't review NXT. I do watch it, but I don't review it. But yeah, it's going to be a big thing. So we're going to have like sort of Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Who is going to come out on top? It's going to be a big, big deal, a big show. That's the next pay-per-view. But yeah, ultimately, it's going to be really interesting going forward. Like I said, ultimately, I think Crown Jewel was a bit of a strange event, but I think some of the matches were good. Like I said, it was good, bad, and the ugly at the start, and it done all of these sort of things. But yeah, I think Crown Jewel was okay. I think we got some really good matches out of it, some really awful ones, and some really good, some not so good. Like the two biggest hype matches were the Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman, and the Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez match, and they both flopped for me. And there was lots of other matches on the card as well that were really good, and others weren't too good. But yeah, so big hands up to the women for doing what they did. Like I said, I can't say it enough, but I can't wait until SmackDown happens tonight and we find out exactly what is happening with the titles. You know, is Raw going to get a new title? You know, with the deal that they've got, they said that they wouldn't be cross brands, so you wouldn't get Raw superstars on SmackDown and SmackDown superstars on Raw. Though that sort of went out the window last week as Raw superstars turned up on SmackDown. Even though they turned around and said that that would never happen, that the Raw brand split and all that sort of stuff would be permanent. We wouldn't have this wild card ruling or anything like that. Yet we did. So I don't know what's going forward. So we're going to have The Fiend on SmackDown star. Is he going to appear on Raw? Is Brock Lesnar going to appear on Raw? I don't know. They're going to have a sort of, oh, you take back Bray Wyatt and we'll have Seth Rollins. I don't know, but it's going to be it's interesting going forward. We're going to see what happens going forward. Anyway, that was my review of Crown Jewel. Thank you for joining me live. And if you haven't joined me live, you can also comment down below on this video. But thank you for watching. Remember, that is the hashtag there for Twitter. So get over to Twitter and check us out. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for the review. Thank you for everyone who's supported the channel as well. Thank you, Mike, for commenting. And we'll see you at the next video.